Wisteria Lane, idyllic, serene, by all appearances, the perfect place to live. But things aren't always what they seem.
Handcuff me to the bed.
We're actually on Colonial Street on the back lot at Universal Studios.
Action! Hey!
Print that! Harkening back to a time of innocence, this street has been the home to some of Hollywood's most famous families, including the creepy but lovable Munsters and that all-American family, the Cleavers. Ah, how things have changed. For the past 9 months, Colonial Street has been home to a new set of families, and innocent they are not. Join me and the Desperate Housewives in this exclusive look at life on Wisteria Lane, both in front of and behind the cameras.
Action, please.
And who knows, there may even be a secret or two revealed.
A little murder, a little kidnapping, just all sorts of good stuff.
We're ready.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Rolling. Action!
We're on the set of Desperate Housewives, and I feel so lucky because this is a closed set. No one's allowed here.
We're here. This way now.
Good afternoon.
So I'm going to go and try to make myself as inconspicuous as possible and maybe pick up some dirt for you all, okay?
All set. Quiet, please. And roll, please.
Bree, what are you doing here? I found Mrs. Hoover's journal in some of Mike's stuff. And it looks like she knew Mary Alice's secret and was blackmailing her.
Yep, that'll do it.
Thank you very much.
How much in advance do you know about these twists and turns?
I've never had a sense of where it's going, and I kind of like it that way.
You know, we're the last to find out.
A lot of things are kept in the dark.
Hey, what happened?
Another
That's part
stinger.
of the scene. I couldn't tell you. It's part of the mystery.
I guess there have been incredible leaks all over.
What are you doing? That's private.
So, you know, we shoot a scene and then they take that thing from Men in Black and they erase our memories. Nobody knows that.
Film break's ready to go.
All that mystery information is, you know, sort of on an as-need-to-know basis, and clearly, I don't need to know.
I don't know whether it's top secret or just really just written at the last minute posing as top secret.
These guys are writing and rewriting and writing and rewriting.
As the season went on, it would get to a point where we wouldn't even have a script when we started the show.
There's so many characters, the cast is so large, there's so many storylines. You know, Mark Cherry and the writers work under such tremendous pressure.
I'm about as discombobulated as you guys are because I'm also currently writing next week's.
He and his writing team are just genius.
I'm seeing everything so that I don't have any surprises because we don't have time for reshoots.
We can be sitting in hair and makeup and we'll get 4 pages of this scene that you're about to shoot in 30 minutes. I normally prefer not to get involved.
It really keeps everybody on their toes, and it keeps everything in real time. It keeps, you know, the actors fully in their characters.
I'm just gonna get myself some water.
I'd rather you didn't.
So you come to work ready to just mix it up and get to work on material that you may never have seen before.
So did you have a fun day?
As a matter of fact, I did.
It's hard work. That's a hard way to work. But I think it just speaks to, you know, how much we care about each other, how much we care about the show.
It has its advantages because you can react instantly to situations or new ideas. But it's just a nightmare for the production people.
Stop the madness!
We have first team. Cross the block of traffic, please.
Watch yourself there, guys. We'll get you right here by the Zacks. Sounds perfect. Roll, please.
We were sort of behind right from the start, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse to the point where we're literally just writing the pages the day before.
This is called panic mode.
Clean all this out back this way, please. Everything.
Fast pace, you know, you gotta get the shots, gotta keep it going.
We don't even know where the next location is.
You can just keep running around this way.
We shoot all the time. So rain, snow, nothing can stop Desperate Housewives.
You never see see the rain on this show.
How would you describe what goes on in the set?
It's madness.
It's a pretty desperately crazy set, that's for sure.
I bet all of America has wanted to do this.
Listen up now, guys. Listen up.
Because of that, and because it's so unique, the writing is different, the production schedule's different. This whole year has been a big learning process for us as actors, for the writers, for the producers, for the showrunners, for the set designers, for the costumers.
At 5 o'clock, we start that scene. Copy, make sure all the cast, everybody knows, makeup, hair, costume knows. Copy.
You know, it's incredible to turn these out week after week and to never feel disappointed as an actress when you read the script is really wonderful.
I'm sure over the hiatus they'll figure out ways to make it a little bit easier, but you know, you certainly can't argue with the product.
I couldn't agree more.
Why is it, do you think, that Mark Cherry has this uncanny ability to get into the psyches of women?
Felicity says he has a vagina in his brain.
He's able to get inside them. I mean, how does a gay guy who's never had children or been married write motherhood so truthfully?
Did you? Wow.
Wow, I wanted...
Wow! Wow! Give me wow!
The only thing I can attribute that to is that, you know, he's got a vagina in his brain.
Oh, I do agree with that.
You know, whatever's going on in there is working.
Yeah, it's interesting to think we're all here the results of some twisted fantasy in some man's head.
I think it's underestimating him to say that he just writes women well. It's more than that. He weaves together lots of different emotions and plot lines.
You're just gonna have to put on a condom.
Condom?
Yeah.
What's the big deal? Let's risk it.
Let's risk it?
Yeah.
This show specifically, it's really about my mom. I was at my mom's home watching TV one day, and they had coverage of the Andrea Yates trial, the woman who killed her children in Texas. And I remember watching this with my mom and saying to her, gosh, can you imagine a woman being so desperate that she would hurt her own children? And my mom took her cigarette out of her mouth and turned to me and said, I've been there. And for the very first time, she started telling me all these stories about how alone and desperate she had felt when she was a young mom, and it was just us 3 kids, and my dad was away getting his master's degree. And I just had this epiphany, because I thought, well, you were supposed to be the perfect wife and mother, a woman who had wanted nothing more than that life, and for you to have moments of unhappiness, well, that means every woman has. Every woman has had a little moment of just crazed, insane desperation. I just think if you can capture the truth of one woman, you can capture the truth of many. And I thought, there's a show here. And I wrote it.
Oh, Mary Alice. What did you do?
She was the hub of the wheel of each of the spokes of each of the characters. And when she made the choice to commit suicide, that center point dropped out.
Everyone starts kind of going, oh, what's going on in my life? My secrets, am I happy?
And then everyone's starting to question their own grip on reality and whether or not their lives were a mirror of that desperation.
And just the facades we all put on in terms of dealing with each other. Ostensibly, no one should know you better than your neighbor. I mean, they live right next door. But the truth is, our neighbors don't know a lot about us.
It's the age-old question, isn't it? How much do we really want to know about our neighbors?
I just thought it was interesting to write about a bunch of people who've had things going on that they don't want their neighbors to know about. And the idea that a woman who shouldn't have a problem in the world just one day after, you know, doing her chores, kills herself. There was something so fascinating about that. I thought it was such a great jumping off point for a series.
When you first read the pilot, did you say to yourself, I'm going to be involved in something huge?
No. No, you just read a great script, you hope to God you get the part. Beyond that, you don't even think about it.
First time we sat down and had a table read, and I met Terry and I met Marcia, and all of us for the first time met our husbands, and we just sat and read the script. We all had goosebumps. It was like, wow, this is gonna be great.
I was like, are you kidding? This is the best material I have ever seen written.
I laughed out loud when I read it.
From day one, I thought, oh, this is a really interesting script, but it's just too interesting for a network to pick up. It's too quirky, so they picked it up.
You know, it's fun. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We have a lot of levels. There is some, I hope, moving drama. Lord knows there's some wicked comedy.
He holds up the icon of the American family. with love and reverence, because Mark actually feels that way. And then he turns around and pokes fun at it.
Felicity wrote this beautiful little note on her gift at the beginning of the season, and she just said, "Let's hope this puppy has legs." And I'm thinking, oh my God, we have a greyhound.
To Mary Alice.
Mrs. Elise?
Hi, John. Your gardener? Carlos. Rex.
Zach.
Hi, Paul. Free Vanderkamp. Mrs. Hooper. Tom. Annette.
Bongo.
Edie.
Susan.
Mike.
Terry was very sweet, and she was, you know, basically open to playing anything. She loved the script so much, but because she had a daughter and she was a single mom, a single working mom, she kind of let me know that Susan was the part she felt closest to. We took her to the network, and she gave one of the all-time great auditions of the network.
Don't you turn away from me. Look at me.
And fortunately, Terry blew them all away, and she became my Susan Mayer.
Be Mark.
Oh, sorry.
Goddamn felon.
It's not a competition.
The hell it isn't.
The story of Nicolette's audition, which has been told many times, is pretty funny because she came in to audition for the part of Bree. She's a dreadful Bree. She's nothing like Bree. And Charles McDougall, our director, said, "Nicolette, would you mind reading the part of Edie for us?" And she went out and gave this amazing reading. And suddenly I went from like, oh, I don't want to deal with Nicolette Sheridan to, oh my God, she's the Edie of my dreams.
Hi, I'm Edie.
It's a pretty good gig as an actor to have Nicolette Sheridan and Terry Hatcher fighting over you.
We have a lot of fun. We laugh so much together, Terry and I.
Ready?
There's a very funny scene when Edie is out measuring how large the lawn is, and Susan comes out in this dress and these earrings.
I have a date right now with Mike. We kissed, FYI.
It wasn't scripted, but when they turned around onto me, I started doing the same attitude that she'd given me.
How was your big date?
Mike had to reschedule.
And so I mirrored her.
Gosh, how devastating for you.
FYI.
Can I tell you, wherever I went after that show aired, everybody was going, FYI, FYI. It was hysterical. For some reason, that had such a huge effect on everybody.
Her and I, no matter what the press says, we get along great, and really better than anybody. I'm just so grateful to her because it's really the dynamic, I think, of that chemistry that helps me be so funny.
You have to get up in front of a room full of people dressed like that.
I think I'll take my chances, sort of like you did on those high notes. It's sort of like Laurel and Hardy. You know, if I didn't have her, what would I be doing?
There's no way to define chemistry, but the chemistry that we have, it just works like gangbusters.
Nicolette, much like Terry, is just so funny and so not what you expect from the beautiful package to be as hysterically funny as she is.
Keep it up.
I know you're in there, Susan. I can see you. If you don't want to talk to me, fine, but at least have the courtesy to hide.
Edie gives it to her one way or another with the ashes in the face.
What did you really throw in her face? What was that?
Cornstarch. It was cornstarch. Yeah, but you never know how it's gonna stick. So when I threw it, I had to do a double pump.
This was unpredictable. It did go in my mouth because I took a breath like,
It's just so great when she went, the puff came out of her mouth. She wasn't expecting a double pump.
No, who does?
And then, of course, she got some in her eye, so that was terrible.
well, it wasn't her fault. I mean, the stunt guy told me to close my eyes, and when he said that, I said, well, I can't close my eyes. That's not funny.
Sometimes I really feel badly about the things I have to do to her.
Tom, this is my 5th message and you still haven't called me back. Well, you must be having a lot of fun on your business trip.
That line in the pilot where somebody comes up to you in the store who used to work with you, says,
Don't you just love being a mom? It's the best job I've ever had.
There's no room for going, yeah, it's also really hard and really boring and really awful, and I mainly want to run away, and I can't wait until they go to sleep at night, and, you know, there's no room for that.
I relate so much to Lynette.
Yeah.
I've experienced so many of the same frenzied moments as she has.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get that from a lot of moms.
Moms come up and say, oh, that episode last night, I relate to it.
I can't do this, it's just, it's too much.
Or I've been been there with my children.
Today I had to get up at 5, make lunches, make breakfast, drop the twins off at school, and get across town lugging a baby and a sick child.
Or I was at the end of my rope just last week.
Say, you wouldn't have any of your kids' ADD medication that you could spare?
So that's what appealed to me about the part. I felt like that voice of motherhood hadn't been out there before.
We had about 4 or 5 actresses we were going to take into the network for the part of Lynette. And I wasn't really thrilled about any of them. And what was funny is Felicity came in and she had just finished giving her kids a bath that night. It was 6 o'clock at night. She was tired, she was exhausting. She just came in and talked about her frustrations being a mother and how she related to this part. And then she started to read and she blew us away. And it was like so obvious. This woman just had it.
I was looking so forward to a night out.
I mean, do you remember what it's like to work a 60-hour week?
I get to go to work every day with Felicity Huffman, and it makes my life a joy. We get along. I have such affection for her.
It's things that I see Felicity and just crack me up.
Ready? Put behind you. Down.
Put the actress down.
And
I always say that Lynette, with her kids, is my mom when we were young, and Bree with the teenagers and the girls. That's my mom when we were older.
The basket with the red ribbon is filled with desserts for your guests, but the one with the blue ribbon is just for you and Zachary. It's got rolls, muffins, breakfast type things.
Thank you.
Of course, I will need the baskets back once you're done.
A lot of people do come up to me and say we love Brie, and I'm always like, bless your heart, thank you. I don't agree with a lot of the things she does or the way she behaves, but I have to get behind how she thinks and what she believes in. Like the scene when I had to say that awful thing at the dinner table.
She had told me, she said, oh, I've got this scene. I hadn't read the script yet. She said, I've got to say this thing. I'm not going to say it. It's awful.
Rex cries after he ejaculates.
And they all went, that's the funniest line ever.
The whole table just collapsed in laughter, and I turned to Marcia and I said, see?
Go again in a moment.
I had been a fan of Marcia Cross's for about 18 years. And when she came in, there was just something about her that made me think, she's a Brie. And she did a cold reading for us that was instantly better than any of the actresses who had prepared Brie auditions for us. Innately, she had this facade thing going on.
You have an erection.
Please don't use it. Please don't use it. I know.
We're using the big one.
yeah.
You know, she's kind of a unique character herself. She's a great partner to have because she's very truthful and very funny at the same time.
This is Roger. He's about to go play with my underwear.
I'm about to go in her drawers.
What he really wants to do is put them all on.
Fulfill that.
Don't you want to prance around as Brie?
Oh, yeah. There we go.
I thought that it was a great stroke of luck that a lot of my scenes would be with her.
Sometimes I don't think she knows how funny she is.
Rex, say hello to George.
Hello, George. Hello, Dr. Vandekamp.
I'm gonna go put these in water. That's it. Have a fun day.
I know you know about the affair, but you know nothing about my life.
Dirty slut.
Action! Quiet, please. Knock it up.
Did I hurt you again? That was a good one, though, wasn't it? I got all straight.
We started talking about the part of Gabrielle, and the casting directors looked at me and said, well, you've written a part for a gorgeous, funny Latina who can not only act, but she's got to be able to do comedy. Ta-da! They said, you got 2 choices. And one of the actresses they named was Eva Longoria. And indeed, she walked in and I fell in love.
So, do you love him?
I do.
She's made a lot of mistakes in that bed, or at least
A lot of mistakes.
A lot of mistakes.
More mistakes in the bathtub.
You're always wet.
I'm always
all
wet.
season. You're wet, wet. Sometimes soapy.
Love taking baths.
Every episode, we've used the bathroom. And either I'm in the tub,
Relax. Carlos is at work.
Ricardo's in the tub, or Jesse's in the tub.
I spent the last half of the season in a bathtub.
If the bed could talk, what would it say?
Give me a break.
That's nice.
Energy that doesn't quit.
Reloading.
Can't reach the pedals.
She's just so much fun. She's a big ball of energy.
She's the biggest pain.
Ready for
Diva. Right here. You know what they're doing? Rumors are true.
forward.
Like working with a kindergartner here. You know, I think of her as like a little sister.
You see over the steering wheel?
No, she can't. She needs an apple box in there.
She's I mean, she's a joy.
She looks good in that car, don't you think?
I burned rubber, baby.
Hey, we're a family now. This baby needs its mother and its father.
Oh, Carlos. Whoever said you were the father?
The twists and turns that this show has taken throughout the season, have any of them surprised you?
Every script, I'm like, what? Every single script. We are so surprised.
Wait, they're charging you with a hate crime?
I sit down and watch it on Sunday night just to see what's happening, and oftentimes I don't know what the final product is.
Given the fact that I'm a male on the show, which means I've got a higher expendability percentage than some others, God, that's got to make you nervous, and you know what it does.
And were there any particular things that happened that shocked even you?
Mrs. Huber's death.
Well, when we found out that she was going to be killed, I cried. She cried. It was so sad to see her go, and I think she was such an important part of the show.
I was really shocked that Rex died. You read it in the script, and you go, oh my God, he's dead.
Rex passed away about 10 minutes ago.
Loss is so profound, and to do it properly or truly, I was scared about that one.
I would think that nobody's really safe because nothing is what it seems and you don't know.
Jesus, am I next?
Am I next?
It's like, how many of us will die? Who will die? Who is dead and they don't even know it?
What did you do to my dad?
I could be a zombie right now.
Felicia Tillman was attacked.
I'm totally freaked out.
Nobody's safe.
Pictures up.
Oh my God, we're running this marathon and the finish line is just in sight. What's nice about the ending, though, is I had planned all the endings 2 years in advance. So it was nice for me to kind of be writing with our staff, you know, building up to this point.
The first episode and the last episode are kind of the bookends for Mary Alice. It's the cover and then the reveal.
Hello, Angela.
Got it. Very good. Thank you. Check it. Okay, here we go. They start here. Action.
Don't worry. Give him a good home.
I think Mary Alice in some way represents the shadow. A really good woman who got caught in a bad situation and in that situation made a choice that she never recovered from.
I think everybody's extremely tired around here. It's been a very long season.
I'm resting because it's lunchtime.
Finally got it.
I am done. I'm officially done.
You're awesome. I can't wait to see you in July.
Goodbye, honey.
Is this your last shot on this show?
Yes. Let's give it away. I die.
Good night to Eve and Jesse, guys. Thank you, guys.
Nicolette's wrap. Thank you for a fabulous afternoon.
Until next time.
I know.
I hope it's soon. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Another job well done.
When we start our second season, what's happened?
I don't know what to expect in the second season. I don't know if she's gonna embrace motherhood.
I have a feeling that Carlos will be kicking many people's asses.
I love to see the light bulbs start to go off more and more with her next year.
In what way? What do you mean?
To see her grow, to watch something shift.
I'm going back to work, which in a way is so much easier than staying home with the kids. I mean, so much easier.
Edie is in dire need of a hunk for the second season.
I don't know, but yeah, I think she'll get a guy.
Or maybe a few.
I'm really fascinated to see where it goes and see them as a couple or as a crazy dysfunctional family. You know, who knows?
I have no idea.
I certainly want to make sure that Mary Alice maintains her omnipresent vocal presence. No, I mean, that's the good news, is I don't have to worry about getting killed. I don't have to worry about my husband divorcing me. I don't have to worry about moving out of the neighborhood. It's in some ways the best gig.
Desperate Housewives. It promises something. It promises something fun and kind of wicked and different. And I think we deliver.
Here we are at the road's end as the sun sets over Wisteria Lane. The shutters are closed, the doors dead bolted, and the neighborly hysterics have halted for the moment. While the mysteries of our desperate housewives still remain locked behind closed doors, we wonder what secrets are still yet to be uncovered next season, where anything is possible. Well, just like you, I'll be tuning in to find out. I'm Meredith Vieira. Thanks for watching.